This
Whoops.
is podcast number 2, and I'm Wes.
I'm Jason.
That's Jason.
And Lauren, I'm here.
That's Lauren also.
Patrick's
Patrick's
available.
yeah, Patrick is pooping.
For a whole day.
Probably until next week.
I
He'll
told
be
him
pooping.
he needed to see a doctor for that, but he didn't listen.
So,
Wes has been sick. So his voice
I've had a cold for a week, so my voice sounds weird, probably. It doesn't necessarily have to be what games we played, but what the hell did we do last week?
a lot of work.
Work? Okay.
Nothing. Not a damn thing.
Not a damn thing. You didn't do anything, even play a video game?
Well, yeah. I mean,
About all you have to do is play video games or watch TV or
But
sleep
not
and be in
Sonic
pain.
3D Blast. I did not play Sonic 3D Blast.
Good, then
For
that won't be a
once.
topic.
Yes.
What else did you play?
What the hell? What was that? Not Tetris Plus. Although I like that game. I guess it didn't sell well. I was researching Tetris Plus because I knew the only reason I know about this game. All right, like years ago when Tetris was popular, Dr. Mario was popular. They kept trying to make, like every company wanted to make like the next big puzzle game. Sega made Columns or whatever, and I don't think it's very good. Tetris Plus, I mean, it's just Tetris, but you got the little archaeologist guy who runs around, and there's a spike ceiling that's coming down slowly. It'll crush him and kill him. The way you save him is he gets to the bottom of the screen, and basically you have to match up the pieces like normal Tetris. It's the normal Tetris pieces, and clear a way for him to get to the bottom. It's pretty simple, but like I guess it didn't sell well. People didn't like it or something. But I think it's fine.
Maybe it was at a point where people were tired of Tetris.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's that too. Like,
Well, they did make a lot of different Tetris things
Yeah.
after the original.
Yeah, there were a
was
lot of
big
different
hit.
versions
It's
of
like,
Tetris.
oh, this is
like
this was a
Hatris,
hit?
Weltris,
Let's make
fucking
everything. Tetris.
Blastris, and
Even
Blasters.
even take games that aren't Tetris and just put the title Tetris
Yeah.
in there.
oh, here's penalty pawn. Let's call it Tetris Attack. Throw Yoshi on it, and like what? That's
It's nothing like Tetris.
What's the story of Tetris Plus?
it's Tetris. You save the little guy who walks around on the screen by making him touch the bottom.
I don't know. I think I saw a story at the beginning. I flipped past it all because I didn't feel like reading it, but I have a feeling you read it.
I did. I had nothing better to do. Obviously, I'm playing Tetris Plus.
So what's that story?
Okay, so it's an archaeologist and his girlfriend or whatever, his helper, assistant, I don't know. They go to different locales in the world, like Egypt or wherever there's ruins, and it's like, oh, they're going to explore a pyramid. Hey, they found a hidden path, and then you play the stages. That's it. And then after the stages, it's like, oh, you found a treasure. Off to the next level. That's it. That is all.
Okay, so they're basically in an endless pyramid of endless death traps,
Pretty
of spiked
much.
ceiling. It's just nothing but spiked ceilings.
Yeah.
Let's clear a path by throwing lots of bricks in our way.
Okay, that sounds good.
But I think after you do all the other worlds, they go to like Atlantis or something because they find it. It's like, oh, it's hidden city place.
Oh, there's actually different backgrounds other than just pyramid?
Yeah, because
Okay.
it's like, here's the Mayan ruins or something in one stage. It doesn't affect the gameplay, but it's,
You get a change of scenery at least.
yeah. I mean, each level, there's 100 levels in the game, and each one has blocks set up on the screen already that you have to get rid of. Some of them will look like, pictures, like, this one looks like a fruit, like a banana or something.
Isn't that silly and fun?
It's kind of stupid. But I liked it. I first played it on, the only reason I knew about it at the time, I had a friend who had it for Game Boy, and I remember playing it, and, because I had Game Boy Tetris, just normal Tetris.
Oh wait, did it actually come out for Game Boy first? The original Game Boy?
Yeah.
Yeah, we had it on the original
on-
Game Boy. That was our first Tetris game.
Yeah,
Okay, so it's-
we had Tetris.
I mean the
This
original.
is just a newer version.
Yeah,
for
the original
okay.
Game Boy was our first gaming system. We even got that before Nintendo, and
it came with the first Tetris, which
yeah,
was
we
always
had
annoying.
Tetris and the Super Mario Land for it.
But then I mean, they made this game at the same time on PlayStation and I think Sega Saturn and also Game Boy. But the Game Boy one is the one I played because I had a friend who had it. And I played it and go, oh yeah, it's Tetris, but there's a little guy you have to save. So I thought it was fine because, you know, I was a kid or whatever, but I immediately understood the concept. It's Tetris. I know how to play Tetris. You see the guy walking around, it's like, oh, well, better save him. He's a narcoleptic.
Falls asleep if
That's
he
right.
stops moving.
If he can't, you said if he can't move anywhere, then he just falls asleep.
Yeah. I mean, you'd want to help him. Like, you wouldn't crush a narcoleptic with a spiked ceiling, now would you? That'd be
No, you'd
wrong.
crush him with blocks instead, and he just climbs to the top.
Probably only if he's asleep.
No, that's not nice.
Okay, so you've been playing. You were playing this when I started recording, and you
No,
were playing
yeah,
it
I
for
was
a while
playing
before.
that like 10 minutes ago, but as far as earlier this week, a lot of random crap. I've been watching a lot of speed runs. People do like speed runs for charities or whatever, and those are always entertaining. And I'll see him play a game I have. It's like, oh, he's playing Yoshi's Island, and they do some crazy glitch. It's like, if you hold left here on this screen, you get warped into Crazy World, and then if you fall in the right spot, you skip the stage. And it's like, well, that's pretty wacky. I'm gonna try that. And most of the time, I can't do it, but I actually managed to pull off some of the glitches and shit and nonsense I see them do in these games to beat them faster. It's pretty fun. But because of that, I've just been like randomly going through a bunch of different games.
Is there any game in particular that you would want to talk about? Just interesting or different or something that everybody hates but you like, other than Tetris Plus or Sonic 3D Blast?
I was playing a lot of Chrono Trigger, but that's one of the greatest games ever made, and if someone doesn't like it, they're a monster with no soul, so...
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know. I could think of a game that I probably like that people hate.
We could talk about the abhorrent price that you paid for that game.
Oh.
Yeah.
Or we could just never mention that ever again.
That'd be good.
Okay,
Yeah.
well how about this? I know it's only been a week, but current state of Sonic.
I think that Sonic Boom game bankrupted the San Francisco offices of Sega because they have officially closed after 20 years.
Bad.
Yeah, not good. They could be better.
Okay, moving on. Lauren, did you play any games this week other than World of Warcraft?
I went and unlocked all the characters and stuff for Soul Calibur 4, so the next time we play that, we actually have all the characters.
Hooray!
So, yeah. And then I also...
Pardon me.
I also ended up finding my copy of Soul Calibur 3 buried in a box.
Which we were playing a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
And that's the
Played a lot of that one.
first one where it actually has character create and...
Yeah, I love the character creator mode in the third one because, I mean, you just take your character and get all the different weapons and armor and everything that you unlock, and then you can change the colors and do all that stuff. And when I started playing 4, I noticed they had a character creator, but they kind of screwed it up by making it to where all the armor changes your stats around and does all this other random stuff. So instead of just picking armor because it looks cool, you have to end up picking stuff that, you know, looks stupid just because you need the stats somewhere else and don't want to start with like 50% health.
I'm a sucker for any game that has a character creator, basically. And I always like making them look cool rather than having to worry about
That's
putting
the
on
whole
some
point.
goofy-looking
It
helmet or
is-
something
yeah,
that makes them look stupid.
Find something that looks cool and you just like playing with, and doing the changing stats, it just turns me off of it in the fourth one. So I probably won't even play with it that much.
Have you ever played Torchlight? Did you ever play that game?
No.
Okay, that was made by the creators of Diablo, the original Diablo, and it's basically the same thing, just a dungeon crawler. They changed a few things. There's some environmental stuff that's pretty cool, but it's like this super cartoony look to it, where all the characters are like, the warrior has these really goofy big arms and really tiny short legs.
Looks like a giant gorilla.
The classic, buff guy cartoon look. Yeah, and but it was a really fun game to play. I really want to play the second one. I really do. But I don't want to pay money for it. That's the problem I'm having right now. I don't want to spend money on games.
It sucks because, it's like, I love that game, but I need to save money.
Last time I played through Torchlight, I'd get some cool looking armor or an awesome looking weapon or something, and then I'd get something a little bit later that was way better, but I hated the way it looked.
Yeah.
And so I just keep playing the game for a while with the crappier stuff.
Version, just
because
cool.
I wanted my guy to look cool.
Yeah.
And I know that's not a smart way to play any game.
Yeah.
But I don't care.
Yeah, I do the same thing with like World of Warcraft, but with the transmog they put in, it makes it like where you can make a crappy looking weapon look like a really cool weapon that you used to have, but sucks up so much gold. I usually don't bother until I get them to the max level.
Oh, you have to pay to make your weapon look different.
You got to pay to change your armor or weapon's appearance.
What's the most recent expansion for World of Warcraft?
The Warlords of Draenor.
When did that one come out?
A few months ago, I think. They're about ready to come out with the 6.1 patch in next week.
Okay. Now, it sounds like it's a lot easier to get gold. Do you think this could maybe lead to diminishing gold farmers?
That's probably the idea behind it that they had, because gold farmers were ridiculous. But one thing I've noticed an increase in are people advertising on the trade chat and whatnot that they'll sell you like a $20 Blizzard card for in-game gold.
Oh.
So it's like a new way that people are trying to get stuff, and of course, you easily get screwed over doing that if you're talking to people, because it's easy to scam people. I mean, sure, some of them probably actually are legit, but why risk it? I mean,
it sounds like the reverse of people paying real-world money for in-game bull crap that we used to always do.
Yeah, it's like, I'll sell you this game time for gold.
Yeah,
but it's still trading. It's still they still paid real money for that time card.
Yeah, supposedly.
If it's real.
If it's real. But then because it's also giving out so much gold, they've also added in things that soak up lots of gold. While you can get a lot of gold from the missions, it costs a lot of gold to upgrade everything. They've got ways to, try and control an inflation.
Were you guys ever actually approached by gold farmers?
No, they would always spam the chat window full of that bull crap, and I just ignored. Although I haven't played that game in a long time. The last time I played it was right after that stupid Panda one came out, and my favorite new feature of that was going to the Panda place and finding out that it made the frame rate on my computer so bad I could barely turn around and leave. And I haven't played since.
Yeah, I remember you telling us about that.
That was a problem.
I don't know. When was the last time I played? It was
I think you guys.
It was Cataclysm. I think where they changed. The Barrens was a jungle, and the
Stormwind was all destroyed.
Everything changed.
It was Cataclysm where they changed all the terrain and stuff, and I was sad because the Barrens was actually my favorite part of the Horde side, and then I guess everybody complained that it was really boring and too long, and I don't know why it was my favorite. It just I don't know, maybe I should move to the Sahara or something.
Just play it and go to the desert somewhere.
Move to the plains in Africa or something. I don't know. I just liked it.
Just sit there with your pants off. Look at all the nothing.
So free.
This is life.
I love that hot breeze on my... Well, we won't mention that. I don't know, I guess it was kind of cool seeing new stuff finally, because like I don't think they changed any terrain at all.
Especially when they just end up pissing off a bunch of people because, oh no, they destroyed an area I like.
Yeah,
Yeah.
A lot of people have
No,
that
the
complaints.
Barons, they aren't boring anymore.
I played it before that, and then, of course, going back, and it's like, oh, Stormwind, like, this whole part of it's just destroyed or whatever. But I never got too attached to any place in this. I just look at it and go, huh, that's different, and went on, because I don't care. A lot of this, before that, I was doing the Burning Crusade crap in that weird other dimension where you fly around or all that stuff, so I was mostly there, and I don't think that got affected.
So you did get pretty high in level, I guess.
Yeah, I ended up making him level himself up to try and keep up, but seeing as Jason was the one that actually got me into World of Warcraft, he's like, here, look, this is awesome. Wes and Patrick are playing it, and try the demo, it's free. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember...
I could time and kick myself in the balls for that.
Yeah, Patrick and I were playing it, and then we got Jason into it, and then Jason got you into it, and then pretty much as soon as you got into it, Patrick and I stopped playing. Yeah, and then I felt kind of bad about that.
But yeah, because once I started playing it, it's like I rocketed past like Jason in level, and Jason's like way behind. I'm like, come on, let's play, let's go. And
Patrick and
Jason kind of stopped playing, and it's like, whatever.
Patrick and I had started some new characters so we could play with Jason, and we were kind of like playing pretty slow so that we could stay about the same level as Jason.
Yeah, I didn't play it.
Didn't get super addicted
much.
like me.
Yeah. Those are the kind of games, like, I'll get super addicted to it for about a month, and then I'll just get bored, because that's all I've been doing. Yeah. But I remember when I think I was about 14 when I first started playing Ultima Online, and I stopped doing any homework to play that game. Homework wasn't even a thing.
About that stuff?
I just like put it in the back of my mind and forgot about it and just played Ultima Online, and got so addicted to that game, and then my report card came and I was grounded from the computer.
Whoops.
And I had to remember how to live life again.
What? Interact with people? Why would I do that?
And then after, I can't remember how long I was grounded from the computer, but then afterwards, my dad allowed me like an hour a day to play, and I was just like, you can't do anything in this game in an hour. It takes an hour to walk to the next city. You can't do anything in an hour in this game. So I was so frustrated, like I couldn't get anywhere, and I think that was about the time I stopped. I lost interest because I just you couldn't do anything. Like I couldn't work on any of my skills. I couldn't get together with people that I had been playing with before. And, even if you did, it's like, oh, sorry, I can only play for the next 40 minutes.
Yeah.
And they're going, well...
20 logging in.
Yeah, that was probably the point where we still had dial-up, too. I can't remember.
It takes you 10 minutes to get online. But yeah,
I'm sure this internet thing's a fad anyway. You'll find something better to do eventually.
Yeah, I always get addicted to the games that just have tons of stuff to do.
Sap your life away.
And it's like that's why I fell for World of Warcraft so much, is just there's so much to do and so much to see.
It's like any of the Oblivion games that you were playing before, except you played online with other people.
Yeah, like Morrowind, I played so much Morrowind over and over and over and over again, and I can't even count how many times I started new characters and played all the way through the game.
I feel like I still really enjoy massive games like that take up a lot of my time, but I think that now I have to make sure that I pace myself, otherwise I get burnt out in like 2 weeks, and I never finish it. 'Cause now it's like my favorite games now are like games for Atari 2600, where you can sit down and play it for 10 minutes or 5 minutes and get the full experience out of it.
Yeah.
And then, or you can play it for an hour if you want. It doesn't matter. It's just an arcade experience. You just go as long as you can, and then you die, and that's it.
Well, that's like us playing warlords and stuff on it. It's,
Yeah,
just
which
play one round of
reminds
Warlords.
me, next time Patrick is here, we need to play another Warlords match.
Yeah, we haven't done it in a while.
If my paddle controllers are working.
Yeah.
I have 2 sets of paddle controllers, and one you can feel the paddle moving in and out, and it glitches out sometimes. And if you're playing Warlords, sometimes you'll catch the ball, and then it won't you can't let it go, so you have to remember where the score is and reset it.
And
Or-
sometimes you can't.
Or you
Sometimes
just
it doesn't
stop
let you
moving.
catch the ball.
Yeah, or it doesn't let you catch it, or you just stop moving. My guy's not moving no more.
Well, shoot, I mean... Hey, Jason, what was that game you said you were playing a lot of?
Chrono Trigger?
Chrono Trigger, that's right.
I mean, that's a good game.
I can't remember
Yeah.
how we got anywhere. So how far are you in Chrono Trigger?
No, I finished it.
Oh, you okay.
I've
How long did it
Played-
take you to finish?
I don't know. I could, starting from a brand new game, I could probably get through the whole game in maybe 12 hours if I don't just dick around, which I tend to do a lot.
But of course, like old RPGs like that from Square, it was all about the exploring again. There's so many side things to do, and with Chrono Trigger, there's 15 endings or something like that.
Yeah, there's like 11, and but yeah.
But even so, those older RPGs just aren't nearly as long. I always forget that, especially on a Super Nintendo game, it's not going to be nearly as long as like Final Fantasy VII, which is 4 discs on the PlayStation.
There are 3 discs.
3 discs,
Yeah,
that's right. Some of the other ones were 4 discs.
That's the thing, like Persona 4 on PlayStation 2. I also really like that game, and I've been drawing a lot of similarities between that and Chrono Trigger, but I've played through Persona 4 a few times, and the memory card keeps track of all the time you spent on it. And I have about over 400 hours on the game, and I'm still playing it because it's still fun, and there's still stuff to do, although I've almost done absolutely everything in the entire game.
I probably have more hours than that logged into Morrowind. If it would keep track, it would be some ridiculous number.
Yeah, actually, that was a question I was going to ask. Is you probably just answered it, but what game do you think you've put the most hours into, like, total? Do you even have an estimate?
It might be Chrono Trigger, might be Persona 4, might be Mega Man 3, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you've played so many games that it's kind of harder to keep track of which ones, especially over all the years
Yeah,
that you've been
like,
playing them.
Yeah, mine without a doubt
So
is
you
Morrowind.
think it's probably Morrowind?
Easily. Even with my World of Warcraft addiction, Morrowind still I've spent more time in.
I probably for me it would be Diablo 2. I think it was like at least for a year. Every time whenever I got back from school, I played Diablo 2, and then on my weekend I played Diablo 2,
Yeah.
and then I would eat something and I played Diablo 2.
Occasionally remember to eat something.
I got addicted to the trading posts, where I'd find all these items that I can't use, but they're really good. So I'd be trade post hopping all over the place and try to get something that I could use for my druid, and try to collect the complete set of whatever, you know.
Yeah.
But so a lot of my time was taken up by trading posts. A lot of my time was taken up by getting to the cow level so I could level up faster and try and actually beat Bale by myself once, which I don't think I ever beat Bale by myself. I always had to do it with a group. He was the only boss that I could not beat by myself. I don't know.
That's like the final boss or whatever, right? Like one of them.
Yeah, he's the final boss, and he's got all these... I mean, first you have to beat a whole bunch of waves of other demons that he's summoning, and then you go into his world after him, and he's got all these tentacle things that come out of the ground and attack you, and you have to... He teleports all over the place, I think.
That sounds like the first day. I played the first game, and I never played it multiplayer at all, but I did manage to finish it once on my own with the warrior guy or whoever. And yeah, you get to the last dude there, and he's just surrounded by a crap ton of enemies. And at that point, I kind of had to get through all the stages by finding a group of enemies, because they're always in a giant group together. I couldn't kill them all at once, so I had to get the attention of like 2 or 3, lead them away, kill them separately, and after I've healed and all that, then I deal with the rest, and I was doing that the whole way, and then I get to the last guy, and yeah, he's in the middle of a room, and there's enemies everywhere, and there's nowhere to like run and pick them off one at a time. So when I realized that, I just ran at him screaming, attacking only him. And thankfully...
Just hope that you kill him before everything else kills you.
And thankfully, I did manage to kill him before that, and when he dies, everything else dies around him. All the other monsters die immediately, which is good, because otherwise I would have died even if I had killed him.
Right,
it's like, yay, I killed the ultimate evil and died doing it.
And then all his minor demons killed me afterwards.
Yeah.
But the world's safe for now.
Someone else will go down here and deal with it.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I'll break down and buy Torchlight too, because I really think my favorite style games are any Diablo style game, any
the overhead
dungeon crawl, overhead point click to kill enemies. It's super simple, but it also, you have to have some thought to it with, like, keep an eye on your health at least.
Well, yeah.
Magic spells, inventory, all that.
Yeah, that was like Nox. Jason and I played Nox like crazy.
Yeah. I do like how really simple they are. That's the thing that attracts me to it, I think, is how simple the gameplay is, but then it's also just such a fun, interesting environment that they made. Have either of you played Diablo 3?
No.
Our mom bought it for the PlayStation or the Xbox. Yeah, they got it for the Xbox. I haven't even looked at it.
Oh, so you have it, but you haven't even played it?
Yeah.
I can't imagine playing a game like that on a console.
Yeah, I have no idea what it's like, or if it's even anything like the computer version, because I haven't played that one either.
So that's the thing. The computer version is just like the old ones. You move the mouse pointer and click where you want the guy to go, he goes there. The way they did it on the consoles, you move him directly with the analog stick, so it's more like playing Gauntlet or Champions of Norath, one of those more action-y type of games. Which they really couldn't have done anything else. Like, you imagine like dragging a mouse cursor across the screen with a controller. That would just be really slow and weird.
That'd just be retarded.
It's like
that
playing
would be awful.
Civilization on the Super NES.
I mean, I guess I understand why they're converting PC games for consoles now, because I think console gaming is more popular than PC gaming now.
Yeah, right now, definitely.
Like, with the console, you buy the console and every game for it you can play on it. With the PC, you gotta keep upgrading it so you can play the new games and whatever.
Yeah.
And it doesn't run slow. Or you get viruses on it and you lose all your saves.
Yeah. My computer's so full of viruses, makes porn.
I just, there's certain games that I feel should never be on a console. And I know somebody will probably murder me for this, but I feel like first-person shooters are something that never should have gone on console.
Yeah,
Hey, Wes, can you hand me that knife over there?
Sure, no problem.
No, the sharper one.
Oh,
yeah, okay,
I thought you were going to murder me slowly with this butter knife.
But yeah, I never really cared much for first-person shooters on consoles. It's just so much more intuitive to use the mouse to aim.
Yeah,
for the record, I would rather play a shooting game.
The aiming just feels so much more sluggish. The one exception I feel like is the earlier, like, Doom or whatever, where you couldn't look up and down.
Yeah,
and it didn't matter.
Was kind of
that made a little more sense.
It doesn't matter then on a console because you're just moving back and forth with the D-pad or the stick or whatever.
Yeah.
But when you have to move up and look up and down and all around and all that stuff, the dual analog baloney, I can't do it.
I've got tons of first-person shooters on consoles because I have played them all, but I still prefer the computer. The only thing that I like about the console better than the computer is the analog movement, because that can be very useful in some games. Is like Skyrim. I just bought the Elder Scrolls Anthology for the computer, and I loaded up Skyrim to see how it would play on the computer, and it's like I love it, but the one thing I miss is because I like to sneak around and slit people's throats because I love that
The
animation.
analog movement for the sneaking.
Analog movement is so helpful on the sneaking because you can just like barely push it and you barely move, and it makes it harder for them to detect you. Whereas when I'm using the keyboard to move around, all I have is forward. It's like move or not move, and it does make a difference on the sneaking.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, that's just, you could always just use a joystick or something if you wanted.
My 3 main gripes with PC to console games would be obviously first-person shooters. Any kind of Diablo-style game, I think, would be weird. Or just, it wouldn't be the same thing anymore. It might control okay, but it just wouldn't be the same kind of thing. The other one would be RTS.
Yeah, RTS is... we played like StarCraft on the N64, and that was so stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a wonder they even got it working.
It's
on
like,
that.
I can't believe they got it to work on the N64.
I think it needed the expansion pack just to be able to play the whole game. It was the same deal as Perfect Dark. Like, you can play without an expansion pack, but it's gonna suck.
Yeah.
Of course, at that point, we had one anyway, because Donkey Kong came with it, and I wanted to play Donkey Kong, and I don't know why, because that game wasn't that good.
Well, I didn't think it was that bad. I did sit around and finally get everything in the game, but
that game was really big.
Donkey Kong for
Donkey Kong 64.
Donkey Kong 64. It was such a huge game.
Big.
Yeah, and I got everything in that game, but I've only done it once, and I probably won't ever do it again because I played
what kind of game is that?
It was kind of like Banjo-Kazooie or one of the other ones.
Like Mario 64, where
Mario
you just run around with a dude
run around.
and collect crap in worlds.
But it's not like Donkey Kong Country?
No.
It's got
it's got Donkey Kong and Diddy Kong and a few other idiots. But, it's like Mario, Banjo-Kazooie. Go to a big world, run around, pick up all the little coins and bananas and shit.
Yeah. Is it actually a 3D world?
It's a full 3D world. The problem with that game is you had to go through every level with every character just to get everything.
That means 5 different dudes, and they all have different crap on the ground. You can't pick up, say, Diddy Kong's bananas with Donkey Kong. They're different colors, and they don't like to do that. So what do? You see a different color banana, you go back to the barrel to switch a dude, then you go back, pick up the thing you saw, you walk 2 more feet, there's fucking Chunky Kong's purple coins or green whatever, and you get mad and throw the game out the damn window.
Yeah, that's why I only ever got everything once. Because you literally have to run through the whole game with every level with every guy.
I'm surprised you finished it once.
There's a game.
There's a lot of places where you actually had to switch back and forth between guys just to get through the level. To get to different areas.
I need this guy to open a gate. Now I have to go back and switch to a different guy because there's something else in there.
Yeah, that was a pain in the ass.
Taking out the fact that you had to switch characters back and forth just to collect all the bananas and whatever, was it fun otherwise? Was the gameplay fun at all?
It was a good adventure game.
It was fun enough. It had familiar mechanics. I think the problem was they were more focused on the idea of everything being bigger. They had the expansion pack or whatever, and that was the thing. We can make the game 10 times bigger than, any other game that we've had on the N64 so far. That's fine, but...
They probably would have been better off just making another Donkey Kong Country game.
Yeah, it wasn't very...
I think that was also, they wanted everything to be 3D at that point, too. So
that too. I mean, Banjo-Kazooie was such a great game, but it was very compact, very directed,
more focused.
You had one character, more or less, and you just went through the stage, and that was it. There was a lot of crap to collect, but in Donkey Kong 64, they made the world so big. Not only that, it seemed like they didn't know what to fill in their giant stages. They made the huge stage just because they could.
Stuff around them.
And then there's so much empty space in between objectives or stuff to pick up. So they just didn't know what to do with it, and that's how they ended up let's just scatter a bunch of crap around that they have to collect in all different colors with different people so they have something to do. And it's very unfocused.
That's it. I like big games, like really big, time-consuming games, but
it was time-consuming
I
for
do
the
get
wrong
burnt out
reasons.
on them now, but
Yeah.
Just making a game big because you can is a huge mistake, because especially if you don't have an idea for everything.
Yeah.
It's like, let's make this big, huge world. What should we put in it?
I don't know. Coins and
Like,
shit.
I mean, building the world progressively, like, okay, we have an idea for this area, now this area, now this area. Oh, this is getting really big now. That's okay, because everything's actually something.
Yeah. You just
Instead of
there's a
like,
reason for
let's make it big and then figure it out later.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, that's another thing. It's like,
Every
here we
spot
got
in the
the
world has a
general
purpose,
idea
has a
how big
reason
we
to
want it
be
to be,
there.
but
Yeah.
what are we
It's
going to
not
put
just
in it?
like,
Who knows?
look at how big.
And yeah,
And Banjo-Tooie later suffered some of the same problem. It was better it went back to just Banjo and Kazooie. You could separate them and they had to do some crap on their own. But other than that, they were mostly together the whole time. It was a bit more focused than Donkey Kong, but it went to also the level of Donkey Kong where, okay,
Yeah, there's
let's make the
so much
world really
backtracking
super big and have a lot of backtracking and more crap to pick up. And
that was another one that I only got everything in
that's
it once.
fine.
I love the game, but
Banjo-Kazooie, what do you do in a
once.
sequel for Banjo-Kazooie? You have more of it, and that's what it was. But I think they kind of lost the focus in doing that and kind of lost the point.
They could have made it like the same sized game, but just
Yeah,
different.
New Worlds or whatever.
new worlds or something,
and
or
it still would have
change up
been
the
fun.
gameplay a little bit or something.
Yeah, but they
Tighten it
were
up.
intent on using like every megabyte or
Yeah,
whatever they could get
then
out
they
of
had
that
all the
expansion
things
pack.
where you could take doors in one world and it would put you into a separate area in an older world that you couldn't get to before, and lots of backtracking and going through around, and it was like a maze trying to find everything.
All the worlds in Banjo-Kazooie weren't connected. That like,
Yeah,
it was a world. You
just
go in
entered
world,
the
that's
world.
it.
It was
You
like
do
yeah,
everything in that world, you're done. You
It was
don't have
mo-
to go back
yeah.
later with like sometimes you might have to get a different move to come back later and like beat something.
But it was kind of like
for
Mario
the most part,
64. You
yeah.
just went into the world, and there's the world. Explore it. When you're done, leave, and then
like
go to the
imagine
next
in
one.
Mario 64 you go in the first world and then you walk into like a door and all of a sudden you're in the 10th world and it's like, well, this is confusing. That was basically Banjo-Tooie and it doesn't work for that kind of game.
I was trying to think of something like that's comparable today, like you're saying, oh, we have all this extra space now, let's try and make the biggest game we can just because, or
Yeah.
everything's got to be 3D now that we can do it, or something like that. And the only thing I can think of is like, it seems like every single player game has to have an online multiplayer mode.
Actually,
Yeah, even though-
actually, the problem I have today is most games are multiplayer games. It's like they don't have a single player thing.
Or
Like-
the single player feels like,
Like
an
what-
afterthought thrown in.
Well,
what kind of
last
games?
minute.
Well, the first-person shooters like the Call of Duty and stuff, the first single player is like almost non-existent. You can beat the game in like a few hours.
Oh, right. It used to be they would tack on a
The
half-assed-
multiplayer was like a half-assed afterthought.
Yeah,
It's like, oh, well, we still got a little room.
They had to have it on everything
that in
because
there.
every other game had it, so they had to have it.
Yeah,
as a
and-
feature.
And now most games are multiplayer, and they go, oh, well, what if they don't want to play multiplayer? Oh, I don't
So
know.
they
Let's
throw in a
throw in a
half-assed-
half-assed single player.
Yeah,
Single
it's
player mode
reversed.
with a crappy story or something.
Yeah, and they're kind of doing that now, even with not first-person
Yeah,
shooters,
I think
just making everything online.
I think Patrick was. Oh, it was one of the Call of Duty games. I can't remember which one now, but the single player story mode was like 4 hours or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
Which I don't know. It's okay, as long as you have. I guess it's okay as long as the story is good.
Yeah, if it's a good story, you can live
But still,
with
I
the 4
mean, you're
hours.
paying $60 for a 4-hour game.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they're just banking on the fact that you want the multiplayer.
Yeah, that's why I usually don't bother with those ones. And most of the Call of Duty games that I have, I got, used cheap, and they're like $5 now. And it's like, okay, well, I'll buy $5 for a 4-hour game.
And even if someone's playing these games for the multiplayer, well, okay, they get the newest one. They play it for a while online. What happens? They come out with another new Call of Duty or whatever, and everyone starts migrating to that.
And then there's
so-
nobody to play the old one anymore.
Yeah, they have to keep getting another game just to play. It's still the basic concept of you're there, the other people are there, shoot each other. Like, I know they add new mechanics in some of the games and new maps or whatever, but really, how much different can it be to justify its existence?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's... I mean, there's definitely certain games that will benefit from it, but then you have like fighting games where you're trying to have a really quick, you know, you're having a fight where every second matters, and then the other guy's internet connection sucks, and there's all this latency, and then the game freezes, and all of a sudden you lost, and you don't know what happened.
What the hell happened? Yeah.
Any fast Twitch stuff like that kind of sucks for online multiplayer, where you're relying on your internet connection and his internet connection to be good.
Yeah, even World of Warcraft, you have that problem when you're doing a raid and like half the people are dropping in and out because they got poor connections, or you have a tank that, you know, is like just all of a sudden stops doing something in the middle of a battle and you all die. It's like, sorry, I disconnected.
Even under the best of circumstances, sometimes the netcode is just not very good. And, you know, it's not the fault of the two players on either end. It's just the game isn't programmed well.
Programming itself for the game.
There are a lot of fighting games now, and yeah, most of them have online multiplayer, which, you know, is to be expected. It's a convenient way to play against people, but most of them just aren't very good at doing online. There's a lot of games that just have problems.
I also have the problem with the online fighting games in particular. I either end up finding somebody that has no idea what they're doing,
or somebody who spends way too much time
somebody that should be in a tournament winning it.
Yeah.
And like, I have zero chance.
Yeah, our friend Keith loves to play online, and it's like, even with the lag, and he's just sitting there playing, and it's like, how can you enjoy that? I mean, you could play against a real person, not have lag, and...
Aren't there certain, like with the big group first-person shooter stuff, isn't it usually if one person has lag, they just kind of drop out of the game, and it doesn't affect the rest of it?
Yeah, like the Call of Duty Ghosts was like the last one I actually played online, because I had a roommate that played with me, and we'd play together, but with that one, if somebody had such a bad connection, it'd literally kick them out of the game and just find somebody else and drop them in there. Which was useful because, like, he was telling me about older ones where if one guy got screwed up, it just ended the match for everybody. Mm-hmm. And that would be annoying.
Of course, there'll never be that luxury for a fighting game because it's only 1 versus 1.
Exactly.
If one guy drops out, it's done.
Yeah.
And also, fighting games in general require very precise inputs, fast timing, and if it's even slightly off, it's just bad for everyone.
Yeah. I think the last first-person shooters that I played that were online were Quake Live and Battlefield Play for Free.
I think I played Half-Life.
So that might tell you how up to date I am on those type of games. But I don't know. I thought it was great. Quake Live is still super fun because it's basically Quake Arena, but you play it in your browser and it's free.
Yeah. And
Battlefield Play for Free is great because it's like any other Battlefield game, but it's free and you play it in your browser.
Free games are nice.
Battlefield Play for Free had that stupid system like, you can, you earn silver coins by playing the game, and you can use the silver coins to rent weapon packs, and then you get gold coins by paying for them, of course. And you can use
most
gold
games
coins
like
to
that have that now with the premium currency that you can earn slowly and like takes forever to earn, or you can buy it and have it instantly.
The problem is if you don't have one of those updated weapon packs and you just have the standard stuff that you're given at the beginning, you're gonna get
you're gonna get your ass kicked.
You're gonna get torn up.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous. So But the thing is, like, I was earning so many silver coins per match. It was no problem. Like, I rented one pack, and I could rent it for a week, and I was getting so many coins per match that I was like, oh, I have enough coins at the end of this one match to rent for another week.
Yeah.
So, and I'm playing, like, 10 matches a day. It's like, it's no problem. I don't need to pay any money for it.
Yeah,
but it's
that's
still
nicer.
It was like, why would I pay $10 so I could have it forever? Because I'm totally gonna play this game forever.
That's for the people who are stupid or gullible or just suck.
Yeah, or they just want it immediately. They don't want to wait, and they have expendable income, I guess.
Yeah, apparently. I know lots of people that I work with that do that, and they just spend money like crazy on doing stupid stuff just because they don't want to wait and earn it themselves. And it's just like, oh, just buy it now.
I knew people that were spending real money on Farmville.
Yeah, there was one at work who did that, and he realized he was spending like a couple $100 on this stupid game.
Yeah, God, Farmville.
Yeah, I never played it, but I've played. I have phone games.
I did. I'll admit that I played it, but I was done pretty quickly, and I never spent a dime on it. Thank God.
Yeah, that's one thing I refuse to do on all my phone app games and stuff where they have it. I don't buy the currency. It's like I'll sit here for a year until I earn enough to buy the one thing I want.
They were selling Farmville cards in the store, and all it was you would pay real money for the card, and then there was a code on it, I think. I could be totally off on this, but I think there was a code that you put in, and then it would give you your in-game currency.
Yeah,
like, why would you go to the trouble to go to the store,
to
buy
get
the
a
card,
to go
load it onto your computer to get the in-game currency, when you could just do all that online?
Yeah, I could see it if you didn't have a credit card.
Yeah, unless you're like Jason, who doesn't have internet dollars. And you're really into Farmville.
No.
Which I'm sure that you are, Jason.
I'm not even sure what it is.
You're better off. Stay that way.
Yeah.
Good.
Oh, man. So, how long have we been going? We've been going for over an hour, it looks like.
Yeah, it's probably good for another.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's good. Hey, this is podcast number 2. Isn't that neato, guys?
Maybe Patrick will be around for number 3.
That'd be cool. He adds another dynamic to the whole thing.
Yes. Also helps keep us focused.
Yeah. I thought we did a pretty good job, though. But yeah, you guys ever think we would do a second one? I didn't.
Oh, no. Not at all.
Hooray! Hooray! Number 2! Maybe we'll do a third one next week. Hooray!
Are you trying to pad this out?
Yes, I am.